Greetings and welcome to Sunny War. It is really an honor, a high honor, to have you with us for this episode of Richmond Sessions 2223, which is we're in a recording studio that is within the galleries comprising an exhibition called Storied Strings, the Guitar in American Art. And normally I would begin this by just going right into it and asking you some questions and asking if you'd play a few songs attesting to whatever point. But this time, we're going to start with our friend and colleague from WNRN, Desiree Moses. So I'm going to hand it off to you to get us started.
Awesome. Thanks, Leo. Thanks for having us here today. Hey, good afternoon. I'm Desiree Moses. For today's in-studio session, we have a real treat. We're broadcasting live from the Richmond Sessions studio space in the Storied Strings, the Guitar and American Art exhibit. It's on view now at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts through March 19th. We're thrilled to be joined by Sunny Moore. Sunny, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Sunny, we're going to get into talking about the new album. Would you like to start us off with a song?
Yeah, this song is called Can I Sit With You? Swimming in a fishbowl in the world that we call life. Really wanna feel whole. Never have, but soon I might. Your soul shines like gold. You've got a smile that I like. Can I sit with you? Can I sit with you? The wind, it blows me down, and getting up takes all day. Troubles that I found make the others seem thrown away. But when you're around, I keep all the hellhounds at bay. Can I sit with you? Can I sit with you? Your words fall like rain onto the fire in my mind. Your eyes make me insane. You're different than the other kind. I wanna know your name. Share a moment of our time. Can I sit with you? Can I sit with you? Can I sit with you?
Sunny War live on WNRN, broadcasting from the Richmond Sessions studio space in the Storied Strings, the Guitar and American Art exhibit. So Sunny, we're in this gorgeous studio space made in partnership with our friends at In Your Ear Studios, surrounded by these beautiful historical guitars. And I read an old interview with you where you said, "I never wanted to be a singer, I only wanted to be a guitar player." So first of all, I'd like to ask you, when did you first pick up a guitar, and how did you establish this beautiful, mesmerizing style that you have?
I first started playing guitar when I was 7, and we had a family friend that was a banjo player, and then my uncle is an upright bass player. They were like the only people I ever saw playing stringed instruments, so I think I was just trying to imitate them, and I ended up kind of being a finger picker because I never saw anyone play guitar properly until it was too late. So I was trying to be a banjo player on the guitar.
You sort of filled the void. They didn't have a guitar player, so then you could do the family band thing.
Yeah.
So I want to sort of unpack the one part of that quote, which is, "I never wanted to be a singer, I only wanted to be a guitar player." So when I listen back to this new record, Anarchist Gospel, I think lyrically it's just as strong as it is sonically. When did you find your voice, and would you say that lyrics and being a singer are now just as important for you as being a guitar player is?
I like writing lyrics, and I started singing when I was 13, but I still don't really like singing. But I like making, it's because me and my friend were trying to start a band in high school, and we wanted to get a singer, and we never got one. So then me and him ended up singing, but both of us only wanted to play guitar. So it was like just a mistake, and I never got out of it.
Yeah. So I hear some gospel in this album. There's songs that have enormous emotional release on this record. Did you grow up listening to gospel music?
Yeah, definitely. I went to church with both of my grandmas like most of my life, and that was the only fun part I think for me was the gospel music. Not that it wasn't fun. I think I just didn't understand the sermons most of the time, so it was like the music was the only fun part for me.
Yeah, but then you also grew up, I read, you got into punk music too, so bands like Bad Brains. So how have you been able to sort of marry those two sounds into your own sound?
I'm more influenced by punk rock lyrically, just because I feel like it's just more like raw and just straight to the point lyrics. But I think gospel, like, because it's so much like blues, or I guess it's like rooted in blues music too, and just like old soul and R&B, like I think that's like comes more naturally, like just playing guitar. Like those are the chords that I lean towards.
Yeah. And then so the anarchist side of the title, I know that you did some work in LA with the nonprofit Food Not Bombs, and there's a chapter here in Richmond. On WNRN we highlight we're a nonprofit, and we highlight fellow nonprofits in the area. So we've worked with Food Not Bombs before. Was sort of the ethos of Food Not Bombs, did that make it into this album at all, sort of the anarchist side of things?
Yeah, I think so, because for me, like the song Whole on the record is kind of anarchistic, like just in a way, like don't think too much about money, don't think about work, like think about what's real, like what really means something to you. And to me, that's like, even working with Food Not Bombs, it's like doing mutual aid is more about, it's more than a nonprofit. It's like, no, you're just losing money, really, like until you figure it out. But I think like people come together as a community, and then they make it possible, and it becomes easy to help other people.
Yeah. And then real quick, for listeners who might not be familiar with what Food Not Bombs is, can you quickly explain what it is and what your work was with them?
Anyone can start one. They just feed free vegan meals to people, and also like hand out toiletries and help with like helping them find resources for different things, like usually with homeless people, but it can be anybody who needs. In LA, like a lot of it would be like college students showing up. It would be all kinds of people who just need meals, and it's just a way to like build community.
Sunny, we'd love it if you play another one for us.
This song is called If It Wasn't Broken.
He might be empty if it wasn't broken. So you lost your baby, so you lost your job, so you lost all faith in the one you call God. You came to me for refuge when I've got none. How would you know you had a heart if it wasn't broken? If it wasn't broken. Many will hurt you, you'll hurt them too. You'll leave them high and dry, and they'll leave you blue. But the love you shared was worth the world and more. That's why you cared, that's what you stood for. You came to me for refuge when I've got none. How would you know you had a heart if it wasn't broken? If it wasn't broken, if it wasn't broken, if it wasn't broken.
Sunny War performing If It Wasn't Broken, live from the Richmond Sessions studio space in the Storied Strings, the Guitar and American Art exhibit. So Sunny, I want to plug some of your older projects too, because you've done some collaborative work. You collaborated with Chris Pierce and had a project, War and Pierce, that we enjoyed playing on WNRN. You also collaborated with Willie Nelson's son, Micah. He performs as Particle Kid, and so you had an album, Particle War. But I read on this new album, Anarchist Gospel, you said that this record is a lot of you talking to yourself. So what were you trying to tell yourself on this album, and what message do you think listeners could take away from it?
I was trying to tell myself to stop being a baby, basically, because I was going through a breakup and I was just crying and drinking a lot, and basically I thought my life was over, and I just couldn't find the energy to just move on or do anything.
Something we've all been through, right?
So I was basically, the songs are like, okay, stop now, like go live now, or try to live, I don't know.
Yeah. Now, you did invite some collaborators in on this record. Most notably, David Rawlings is on, I think, 3 or 4 tracks. I know you recorded this, you moved from LA to Nashville. So was he in the studio with you, and what was that like?
Well, he came in for his sessions in Nashville, and that was like, I was trying not to be weird because I'm like obsessed with him, so it was kind of awkward. But then it turned out that he was also like really nerdy. Not nerdy, but we talked about AC/DC for like 30 minutes straight. And I was like, this guy is weird, like, because it just,
He knows. Yeah.
he was just like weirdly, he could talk about Angus Young for a really long time. And most people don't want to, you know?
Well, they say never meet your heroes, but I guess that's not the case here with David Rawlings. So, stand-up guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Awesome. So what was that transition like? I know that you started out, you were born in Tennessee and then you moved out to LA later. What's the transition been like moving back from LA to Nashville? Or are you settling into the music scene there?
I was, but now I moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So
okay.
now I'm like, which I think that's going to be my permanent place because, well, Nashville is cool, but Chattanooga is like quieter and there's more nature, and it's like, to me, it's a better music scene if you like weird music, because I feel like Nashville's more like a music industry town, and in Chattanooga, it's just people that are like, no, I'm just making art because I want to make art. I'm not trying to sell art. And that's like more the scene that I grew up in LA. Like, and that's what I was looking for in Nashville. And I couldn't find people that weren't like just in the music industry, I guess. Like, no one wants to start a random metal band in Nashville that doesn't want, it's like if you're not selling something, they don't want to do it. And I'm like, but why don't we just make some weird music just to do it?
Right. Make art for art's
fun.
sake.
For fun.
Not make art
Yeah.
that you're hoping will sell.
Yeah.
Right. Sonny, we'd love it if you play one more for us. Take us out.
All right.
Freight trains, footsteps, cheap booze, slow dance. How do we live this away? Wet brain, eyes red, life of pain till you're dead here, but we can't hardly stay. I'll be damned if I ain't gone before the sun rises damned. If I ain't strong enough for what you call crisis damned, I can't stay long enough to set up camp, goddamn. Farewell so long and behold the soft tramp. Long hair, long shot, deep prayer, deep thought, so many ways to escape. Stop, drop, and roll, don't hold, don't fold, peace I don't anticipate. I'll be damned if I ain't gone before the sun rises damned. If I ain't strong enough for what you call crisis damned, I can't stay long enough to set up camp, goddamn. Farewell so long, be out the soul train. Farewell so long, goodbye, I'm gone. so long, goodbye, I'm gone. Farewell, so long. Farewell, so long, goodbye, I'm gone. Farewell, so long.
Well, we are in the Richmond Sessions 22-23 recording studio that is part of the exhibition Storied Strings, the Guitar in American Art. Before I get going, I want to just say that this is the last session that we're doing with In Your Ear Studios, and I want to thank Andrea, Paul, Carlos, Billy, and Charlie. Am I forgetting anybody? You guys have been great to work with, and I'm actually a little sad. I'm a lot sad. I'm gonna miss getting to know some of my favorite musicians, and thank you also very, very much for being you, for recording these and making me not sound like a fool. I appreciate that very, very much. Sonny, a little while ago, we were talking about some of the guitars on this wall, and you mentioned the Flying V. Have you ever played a Flying V?
Probably like in a guitar shop.
Right.
Yeah.
When you do play an electric, what kind of electrics do you like to play? What sounds do you like?
Usually I just like a lot of reverb and a lot of a lot of bass and like
Sure.
sometimes delay. I never really owned a nice electric guitar, so I never really got to experiment with that as much as I want to.
I know you normally play a guild. Can you talk a little bit about the instrument you're playing now, though?
This is an Eastman that I just got at the beginning of tour like 2 weeks ago. I mean, I'm really thankful to them. They gave me the guitar, but I'm still kind of getting used to it. Like, it's a little bit different than my guitar, but it's like, it's technically really nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's certainly a beautiful instrument, too.
I think I just need a year, maybe, with it.
It's kind of like getting to know a person, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, each guitar seems to have its own personality.
It's almost too pretty or something. Because my guitar is ugly with scratches all over it and just haggard. And I feel like we're really tight because we've been through stuff. And then I see this guitar and I'm like, nothing's ever happened to it.
Right.
And my other guitar, it's like, I don't know, I would busk with that thing. Like, there's a lot of, like, I have history with it, and then this thing is, like, shiny or something.
Well, that's a really good actual lead-in to the exhibition that this program's about. Makes the case that guitars help people tell stories. The guitars, also some of the stories people tell, our marketing team here at Virginia Museum of Fine Arts came up with the tagline for the exhibition that the guitar is a storyteller's companion. Do you in some way think of the guitar in those terms?
I think of it as like more like a therapist. Playing guitar can put you in a trance and then can help you meditate on stuff that you're not really able to process without playing guitar.
Absolutely.
That could be storytelling for some people, but for me, it's more like trying to, like, problem solving, or at least trying to, like, sing about what I experienced so that I can remember it and maybe not go through it again.
On your webpage, and this is obvious to anyone who listens to it, in Anarchist Gospel, there's such a nearness, a proximity of things that otherwise might be opposites. I don't know if anarchy and gospel are opposites, but they certainly tap into two sides of you, to be sure. Like in No Reason, you say, you're an angel, you're a demon, and you remind us of the reality of how close those two sides are. Could you play us No Reason?
Yeah, I could play the. This is the acoustic version. So this is No Reason. Good intentions that you keep don't change the fact that you're a beast. Better than most, to say the least. Imperfect man-made masterpiece. You're an angel, and you're a demon. You got no rhyme, you got no reason. Know you well, but I can bet you did some things that you regret. The ones you love most, you upset. You haven't got forgiveness yet, 'cause you're an angel and you're a demon. Got no rhyme, you got no reason. You bust your back trying to behave. To your best self you are a slave. You can't sleep in the bed you made till you let go and finally cave. You're an angel and you're a demon. You got no rhyme, you got no reason.
Thank you so much. That was great.
That's the alternative version.
It certainly is close. I mean, the chord voicing and your singing is quite close to the record. Can I ask you about your playing and the importance of the hammer-ons you do and the pull-offs you do, which seem to give you such a strong percussive and banjo feeling, and how you develop that. And
I do play banjo. It's like the things I don't like about guitar, I like about banjo, and the things I don't like about banjo, I like about guitar. Like, I kind of, like, I wish the banjo, like, I don't want a 6-string banjo, I wish it was just not. Like, instead of a drone string, I wish that was something else. I guess I want a 6-string banjo.
I think they make those.
I know, but I don't like them. I can't explain it.
They don't like, sound great.
Yeah, it's like it just seems like made up. It doesn't seem like I want this to be a banjo, but I don't want it to be a banjo. So,
but you certainly get that with the hammer-ons you do. You certainly get. I'm sure there's a technical name for this that I don't know.
Or just hammer-ons and pull-offs, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think of it more as a percussive instrument. So I'm more into like kind of just repetitive, like rhythmic stuff than I am other.
Can you play us a tune that maybe another song that gets into repetitive rhythmic stuff, as you call it?
This has got no right.
till my body was on fire. It was cold here when I came. Now I'm burning with desire. You couldn't tell me when I was small. You can't tell me now I'm grown. Skinny tree, don't care how tall. Bring the firewood back home. Bring the firewood back home. Gotta walk 'cause I got no ride. From the ashes I must rise. Turn the flame that burns inside. Turn my pain into my pride. Turn my pain into my pride. Didn't want the air till my lungs were full of smoke. Don't want your thoughts, don't need your prayer. I want action, not just hope. I've been screaming at a wall. I make it fall all on my own. Skinny tree, don't care how tall. Bring the firewood back home. Bring the firewood back home. I got no ride. From the ashes I must rise. Turn the flame that burns inside. Turn my pain into my pride. Gotta walk 'cause I got no ride. From the ashes I must rise. Turn the flame that burns inside. Turn my pain into my pride. Turn my pain into my pride. Turn my pain into my pride. Turn my pain into my pride.
When you think of the songs as a composition, do you think of the music first, or does it just differ from song to song?
I definitely have more music first than I do lyrics first, because I just record like riffs in my phone, and I have like a bunch of those, but then I kind of force myself to try to write poems without the guitar. So that, because it's like every time if I try to write lyrics and music at the same time, I just get distracted and then I just end up playing. So I have to just I have to sit down and write because I get bored with lyrics. I guess it's like poems. I get bored sometimes.
Sure. So at any given time, do you have a whole catalog of recordings on your phone of things you're working on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of them are maybe 15 seconds long or something. Like I'll just have one phrase that I think is interesting, and then I try to have enough to where I don't remember what stuff is. So sure. Then when I really want to start, because then I make demos when I'm at home. I like to make demos and do bass parts and kind of add keyboards and stuff. But usually it has to be like that last song, just this thing, I had it for a long time and I didn't know what to do with it, but I was obsessed with it. And then even No Reason is just based off of, I just wanted that pull-off thing.
Right.
So I usually have to figure out the song around it based off of what I want to play.
You have that down so well. That thing where like if you're in G, for example, and you go from B flat to B, it's so for a second it sounds like a minor chord, and then it becomes major.
That's like blues. That's blues stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Well, who are some of the blues? I mean, I love that you on your webpage. I love that you have AC/DC, the Minutemen, Rocky Erickson, and Daniel Johnson. You have all these great musicians on there. Are there any blues guitarists in particular?
I like Skip James and Mississippi John Hurt. And I saw Bo Diddley one time. My mom took me to see Bo Diddley at River Stages in Nashville, and it was like 98 or something. And I thought he was really cool. And I saw B.B. King too in the 90s with my grandma. And I have a lot of B.B. King records, but then I like John Lee Hooker. I grew up listening to blues, and I think that's like naturally how I hear things like how they should go, I guess. It's like throwing in a minor, it gives it something, but I feel like that also is in gospel music, so I think that was like a major influence too. It's just adding sevens to everything, and just like it has to have, to me it just makes something sound dysfunctional. That's how I think of it. Like, because if you just play like just major chords, it's like it just doesn't sound dysfunctional, But as soon as it's like if it was like, then it's like, oh, something bad happened, something bad is happening, That's what it needs.
No one of the many people who have sat here, no one has said it quite like that. That is great. Do you give much thought when you're composing a song whether this is going to be in a major key or a minor key?
I have a couple things in a major key, but it's hard for me to be in a major key completely because it sounds like too happy. It can be in a major key, but it depends on what else is going on, I guess.
Can you talk a little bit about how Anarchist Gospel, your new album, how that differs from some previous projects like you mentioned Shell of a Girl and Simple Syrup and earlier projects?
There's like choir singing throughout it, and that's different for me, and I think it's a little more experimental. There's just a lot of features on it, and then I think the choir thing definitely changes it a lot, because that's like a first, but I think that's what makes it's like a fake gospel record, So
Right.
you have to have choir singing. That's the theme, I guess.
Well, some of the artists like Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who's featured in this exhibition, also merges blues, folk, and gospel music big time. You mentioned David Rawlings before, but what was it like working with Allison Russell and Chris Pierce?
Well, Chris, he couldn't come into the studio because he was in California, so he sent his recordings in. But Allison came in Nashville. It was really cool because we kind of were like, okay, like she had the lyrics and we were just like, kind of like approach it however you want. And it was interesting because she was asking me and the producer, like, was that good? And we were like, it's all good. Like, it was like she was just doing different takes. And she was like, is this what you want? And we were like, is that what you want? Like, we were just kind of like, just excited to, like, everything she did sounded really great. And I think it was just cool to hear so many different takes, because it was like she was singing a lot of stuff I wouldn't have imagined. Chris is just like crazy because he's just like a master singer. I don't know. He sent a bunch of stuff, and even just him doing harmonica, but even like it was funny because he was acting like he was like, I'm really busy right now, guys. I'm gonna get to it, but I don't know how much I'll be able to do. But then he sent the next day like so many tracks, and it was like you did a lot for somebody who said he didn't have time to do it, and it was like amazing. And it was like,
that's awesome.
Then the harmonica, I feel like really like did a lot for a couple of the songs. I really loved the harmonica on there.
The harmonica can give both a beautiful feeling, but some bluesy dysfunctional too.
Yeah,
as
it
you
needed that.
put it. Yeah, exactly. New Day is one of, I don't know if it's a slower song or what it is, but it stands out on the album. Could you play New Day for us?
Oh, yeah. Well, you heard me again, you might, but no one else knows what I like. Underneath, you're still a friend. Many lifetimes now you've been. Well, I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love. Believing in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, and you'd be too if you ever had it. I've got a real bad habit. Stole the light right from my eyes and dried it up like fireflies. Start the day, salutation and smile, then work your way to tribulation and trial. I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love. Believing in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, and you'd be too if you ever had it. I've got a real bad habit. Believing in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict, and you'd be too if you ever had it. I've got a real bad habit. I may say I've had enough. My mind may change even when made up. 'Cause every day's a new day for love.
Wow, that's a wonderful, beautiful song.
Thanks.
That is chorus of the year in my mind. That's the way, in case anyone didn't exactly hear it, what you said was, believing in magic can be tragic. I'm love's junkie, I'm love's addict. You'd be too if you ever if you ever had it, I've got a real bad habit. That it's almost like you're doing a call and response with yourself, almost the way you repeat those words. And on the recorded, on the album, I think it's really cool how your picking rhymes with those beautiful violins at the end. I think those are violins.
Yeah, this guy, he layers violin. He plays viola and violin, but he kind of creates his own string arrangements, and he just like layers the whole thing himself. And he does he'll do like 10 different parts.
Wow.
And he just keeps layering. He did that song, and then he did the song "Sweet Nothing."
Is "Sweet Nothing" a song you could play for us, or does that need other voices? And
well, it's like 8 minutes long.
Oh,
so it's a little awkward, and I don't know. I could play whole.
Why not, as a way to take us out? I would love for you to do that.
Don't you work yourself to death. Take a break from the man-made hell to catch a breath. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. And don't you fake no smile if it ain't true. Crested, I'm sure he's it, but you're the only you. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Don't you worry, child, don't hold no stress. Don't let nothing steal your smile. This world's a mess. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. And don't you waste it, babe. Don't waste no time. Protect your heart and soul. Protect your mind. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole. Today could be the last you know. Help yourself, you ought to go. No pain could ever buy your soul, ever make you whole.
Sonny War, thank you so very much for joining us. That was just amazing, this whole session. It's been an honor to sit here with you and chat with you. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you to my friends at In Your Ear Studios, and thanks for tuning in to Richmond Sessions.